Hello. Hey, how you doing, ladies and gentlemen? This is Eddie Marcus again. Been thinking about you all day. I made sure I didn't pay any attention to the media, not even the social media. I just decided to try to see if there was something that was lurking for me to grasp onto. And most of the day, when I started out this morning, it was bright and clear. Then, being busy, and a little bit later on, it was gone. And so I spent most of this day wondering what could I really say, and thought about maybe I don't need to say anything. Everything I have to say has been said. If I repeat it again, doesn't mean that you're going to have an increase in the chances of hearing it, because that can happen just by flipping through the others. Nevertheless, I'm here, and I thought maybe if I just take a little time, it might be all that's needed for us all to go to that next step. And what I want to say to everybody on earth, all the human beings, and what I say to you all over the earth, you can break it down to your individual nations, your individual cities and towns, your individual families, and even unto your individual selves. Every one of us crave happiness for some strange reason. We go to many extremes trying to find happiness. Sometimes we come out and we feel that we have accomplished something. Other times we feel like we've wasted our efforts. We've heard it said, well, you can't buy it. Don't stop those who have money from trying. But they usually find out that the statement was true. And yet, every last one of us will still want it. The question becomes, if it's so essential to satisfaction for each of us, why is it so complicated to have? And if it's not complicated, why don't we have it? Or where are we missing it at? And that is a legitimate question. That should be answered. Why is this happiness that we all seek? Then, we start down that path. We ask ourselves, who am I? Why am I? And ladies and gentlemen, rather than going on down that path, I want to take a little bit of time and just go ahead and tell you this. Every last one of us are special creatures. We live on this earth. We were designed to be assistants in God's creative process. We're on this earth to establish heaven on this earth. All of the resources and everything that's needed to establish heaven on this earth is right here. And just like anything that we can do, we can always do the opposite. So we have choice. We can establish heaven on this earth, or we can establish hell. And they got very, very distinctive identities that you don't get them crossed up. Each one of them stand out. And so, ladies and gentlemen, since we all want peace and we all want prosperity and happiness in our lives, I guess I just focus on that and let you know that the plan for that is this. When we are here, we have a common thing that ties us all together. It's a unique thing that's common amongst us all, and that's survival. And we need those same, just by being a human being, We need those same essentials, every last one of us. And they are here. And how to get them, what they are, where they are, what to use them for. Little bits of information are scattered about in different individuals who have been given these particular interests to having the opportunity to do it would be a great joy to them. And so the design was to do it just like that. And so as we sit and find ourselves here on this earth, having those essentials for survival, and we got these different gifts and talents, and we just oblige ourselves to open the doors. It happens almost like automatic, because we know that each of us play a part in the manifestation, and we know this because we spent a long time living. We've done this stuff at times when we were just one person trying to do everything, trying to meet every need. We've seen the times when it grew a little bit from 2 and then a few more. But now we got many more. And the people who need the same things. And so we don't have to reach out as an individual and try to accomplish all these things. We just take that little bit that we have been given, that give us our greatest joy, and we apply it in the process. And in that process, what comes back is all those things that we need for survival, such as food and clothing and housing, education and health care. And all of the stuff comes back in such an abundance because it's open to so many people to engage themselves. You don't have to work, like right now, for me, we're working, 40 hours a week. And somebody needing to work overtime because they want extra money or get a part-time job or a second job. None of that stuff would be necessary because the workforce is so bountiful. There's so many people trying to get into the force to give themselves. So we split it up to make sure everybody get a chance to you benefit from it, give something to it, and let everybody give something to it. And so we work short hours and come on out of there and do other things. The whole world is open to us to imagine, to engage ourselves in all kinds of things. And then rotate. People are engaging themselves so that the feedback, the returns comes back in such abundance, ladies and gentlemen, that there is not an individual anywhere without what they need, want, or desire. And it's like carte blanche. All they have to do is go and request it. And there it comes before them. The arrangements are made. I mean, don't think it's a fluky thing. It's a system. And so, just like we do things today, we need money. We don't need money for any of those things. Not a penny. We don't have to try to outsmart anybody. We don't have to try to outdo anybody. We don't have to be controlled by somebody that got money. Money has nothing to do with anything. All of us put in what we got. And that makes us all owners. And so all stuff belongs to us. And the power that is outside of us is a spiritual power that we can't see, we can't touch. And each of us can allow that spirit to live inside of us as we apply ourselves in this process. And we're not looking for anybody to lead us anywhere. We are applying our own. We are applying our own according to that spirit that lives in us, according to our agreement with one another, that we are protecting one another, we're looking out for one another, that our peace is wrapped up in everybody's peace, our prosperity is wrapped up in everybody's prosperity, our freedom is wrapped up in everybody's freedom, our joy is wrapped up in everybody's joy, the fulfillment of our dreams is wrapped up in everybody's fulfilled dreams. Now we understand that there will be forces out there that will be trying to stop this, trying to knock it down. But everything that it does to try to stop something is used as a stepping stone to take us higher as we go beyond that, so that those that empower that deception can have their eyes open. And we, my friends, can invite them to the straight and narrow. You know, the straight and narrow is an individual. That's what I'm saying to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to go further than that. I really didn't have anything to say to you different than I've had to say at any time. But I just couldn't imagine this whole day passing by and not saying something. I want you to know that this is my job. This is really my job. And I've been doing this for years and years and years and years and years. And only payment I could possibly get would be if our society started changing, started reflecting beauty, started reflecting the absence of suffering, the absence of people having to go through so many changes. Whatever changes they go through now, like stretching and trying to make it from month to month, all that stuff is gone. People, want to look dressed good. They want to really enjoy the fashions that God has given designers to bring here and share with us. They want to try them out. They want to wear them. They look good, and they do. I think everybody should say hallelujah to see how God has put these stuff together for the glory of God. And what I mean when I say the glory of God, I mean that is to us, to one another, that just by being an instrument for that divine power, and what we see, what we imagine, was what comes forth. And it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It gives us the reason to shout, gives us reason to party, gives us reason to celebrate, gives us reasons to dance and to sing and to rejoice and picnic and just travel. It gives us, oh man, and it didn't cost a penny. Didn't cost a penny. So what I'm actually saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go get out of here now, is that we have been exposed to a system that has deceived us to believe and to accept exactly where we are and think it's really the way we're supposed to be. It is not. It's a trick. You know, when we look over there at Russia and we see those people doing the things that the Russians do, and we think we so smart, we'll say the Russians been given a piece of information and they have bought into it, but we would be too smart to buy into that. you know that, you know how that thing goes, right? And yet here we are at the same time, somebody telling you that you have been bought, you have bought into a system that's doing the same identical thing to you. And you got a message that's lurking to you that's not trying to capture you and put you in the same type of bondage stuff. It's trying to free you. And you know you want the freedom because when you get on your knees and call yourself praying, you asking for it. When you're saying you got the problems, you want them resolved, you're on your knees, you're asking for them. And now the opportunity for it to happen stands right before you. The only difference is it requires that you wake up. It requires that you make a choice. It requires that you receive the power, you execute, and watch these magic changes happen because of what you have done. You become the physical manifestation, the reason why these things exist. You see what I'm saying? Now it's a different thing. Didn't nobody come and give it to you. Now you know what it's made of. It's made of love because you have to go through the struggles. You have to go through the hard times. You have to go through when everybody's putting you down. You have to do it because you know they don't know and you do know. And it is your do knowing that has to overcome the don't knowing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, look, it's a good night. And I know right now everybody goes the way of the world. What other way can you go? But I want you to know what you haven't been told before. You've been told that separate the church and state. Golly, I'm still talking. Well, why did they say separate the church and state? Well, first of all, they were thinking that people like Dr. King might be coming along, and they tell you about, they give some value to the church. The church is not just an institution sitting on the side for people to visit, go show off fashion, and get a preacher money. The church was about something. So they wanted to really separate it. So now separating the church, what it really was saying is like separating God from the people. Separating God from the function of the people. That's what they're really saying. And they got that institutionalized in such a way that the people start beginning to believe that anytime they start thinking about God in relationship to what they're doing every day, they're doing something that's wrong. Doing something wrong. And so they try to put a hold on that. But the truth of the matter is, it's like separating, it's separating oxygen from you. Separating oxygen that you have to intake for your survival. What happens? Something major happens. So when you try to separate life from anything, you get death. So some strive in death, because in death people don't know what's going on, except some. I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, look, you don't have to worry about the lies, you don't have to worry about the cheating, the stealing, the killing, the hatred, the bigotry, the racism, the prejudiceness, the terror and the war. You don't have to worry about that stuff. You don't have to worry about credit and debt and bills and fines and fees. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff, ladies and gentlemen. You got a job, a career that you love, and you do your part. And you got all kind of freedom to do all kinds of other things that you love to do. And it works out just as beautiful as your career. And everything is beautiful. The city, the towns, the nations, the state. I mean, it's just immaculate. It's beautiful. And you, all of you are so happy. Nobody's mad. No racism. Nobody's suffering. There are no haves and have-nots. Everybody got it going on. And you, my friends, just by believing in yourselves, believing that there's something outside of you that you can't see that will empower you to do what needs to be done. It's accepting that fact that this what you can't see is responsible for this earth that you live on. It's responsible for all the things that you know of. The power that you can't see is responsible for that. And if you want to have these kind of things that do not exist, that you don't know how to create, then you got to trust in that power that you can't see. Bring that into your willingness and go forward, my friends. And that spirit will lead you all the way to success. So I want to thank you so very much for giving me this your time. I know you're going to vote for Republicans and Democrats. I know you're going to think about just trying to beat Trump. But I'm going to give you more conversation on that too, but not right now. And if you are interested, before I come back and give you additional conversation, I've talked about it till I worn it out. So you can go back and check those if you desire. This is a democracy. Goodbye.